Welcome to Beyond the Secret, Advanced NLP, the Science of Influence. In this advanced training, we begin exploring the skills that allow communication to become intentional and effective. Every meaningful interaction depends on one foundational element: rapport. Rapport is the sense of connection that allows two people to communicate comfortably and openly. When rapport exists, ideas flow easily. When rapport is missing, communication becomes strained and resistant. But rapport does not occur by accident. It is strongly influenced by something deeper: your emotional state. Your internal state affects your tone, posture, presence, and the signals you send to others. In this first part of the series, we will explore what rapport is, why it matters, how your emotional state affects interaction, and how to stabilize and project a resourceful state during communication. Rapport is the feeling of connection and mutual understanding between people. When rapport is present, communication feels comfortable. The conversation flows naturally. People listen more openly, and they respond with less resistance. You may have experienced this when speaking with someone who seems easy to talk to. There is a sense of familiarity and psychological safety. Rapport allows communication to become cooperative rather than confrontational. It creates the emotional environment where ideas can be exchanged productively. Without rapport, even simple communication can feel difficult. With rapport, understanding and influence becomes much easier. Rapport plays a central role in influence because people naturally respond more positively to those they feel connected with. When rapport is strong, trust develops. And trust allows communication and influence to move forward smoothly. When rapport is weak, even reasonable ideas may be rejected. Not necessarily because the idea is wrong, but because the emotional connection is missing. Human beings evaluate communication emotionally as well as logically. When people feel comfortable with someone, they are more willing to listen, consider new ideas, and cooperate. Rapport does not guarantee agreement, but it creates the conditions where influence and productive conversation becomes possible. Rapport is influenced strongly by emotional state. Your state affects the way you speak, move, and interact. It shapes your tone of voice, facial expressions, posture, and breathing. Even when people are not consciously analyzing these signals, their nervous systems respond to them. If someone appears calm and confident, others tend to feel more relaxed. If someone appears tense or uncertain, that tension can spread into the interaction. Because of this, the emotional tone of a conversation often reflects the state of the person leading it. State is contagious, and the person with the most stable state often influences the emotional direction of the interaction. Human beings constantly read emotional signals from one another. These signals travel through tone, body language, and subtle physiological cues. When someone communicates from a calm and stable state, the people around them often begin to relax. Confidence can create trust. Clarity can create focus. But the opposite is also true. Anxiety, impatience, or emotional tension can easily spread through an interaction. Because communication is not only about words, it is also about emotional presence. Understanding this principle helps you recognize how important state management is. Before influence can occur externally, alignment must exist internally. One of the most practical communication skills is the ability to stabilize your emotional state before important interactions. Simple adjustments can help achieve this. Breathing slowly and evenly signals calmness to the nervous system. Posture also affects emotional state. Standing or sitting upright tends to create a stronger and more confident presence. Another important factor is attention. When you focus on the outcome you want to create rather than the pressure of the situation, your state becomes more centered. You can also activate positive emotional anchors, memories or experiences that generate confidence or clarity. These techniques allow you to enter communication from a resourceful state. Once your state is stable, the next step is simply to allow it to be visible. Communication becomes more effective when your delivery reflects calm clarity. Your posture remains relaxed. Your breathing stays steady, and your pacing allows ideas to be expressed clearly. Confidence does not need to be forced. Often it appears naturally when the nervous system is balanced. When others encounter a calm and stable presence, they frequently begin to mirror that stability. This creates the conditions where rapport develops naturally. Your internal alignment becomes the foundation for effective communication. From a spiritual perspective, communication reflects inner alignment. The state you carry internally shapes the quality of your interactions with others. When your mind is calm and centered, your communication becomes clearer and more grounded. Presence replaces tension. Awareness replaces reaction. In many spiritual traditions, influence is not about control. It is about alignment. When your thoughts, emotions, and intentions are aligned, your presence naturally affects the environment around you. Inner harmony often produces outer harmony, and this principle applies directly to communication and rapport. Here is a simple exercise to practice state awareness. First, recall a moment when you felt confident and calm. Allow yourself to remember the posture, breathing, and emotional feeling associated with that moment. Next, adjust your posture so your shoulders are relaxed and your breathing becomes steady. Then speak a few sentences out loud as if you were explaining an idea to someone. Notice how your voice, tone, and clarity change when your state is stable. With practice, you can learn to access this resourceful state intentionally before important conversations. In this first part of Advanced NLP, the science of influence, we explored the foundation of effective communication. Rapport creates the emotional connection that allows communication to succeed. Emotional state strongly influences how that connection develops. By stabilizing your internal state, you improve the quality of your presence and communication. When your state is calm, confident, and aligned, rapport becomes much easier to establish. In the next part of the series, we will explore one of the most practical tools for building rapport: mirroring. Mirroring involves subtly matching aspects of another person's behavior to create unconscious alignment. If you found this training helpful, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next part in the series. And be sure to connect with me on LinkedIn and Facebook using the links provided in the video description below. I'll see you in part 2, mirroring.